Hello, hello. Just gonna wait a couple seconds. Let's see, I think I have an echo. Just 1 second. All right. There we go. I just realized what was wrong. Okay. I am watching two different screens, one for the comments, and then I've got me on here. I don't know why. Just a minute, guys. It keeps wanting to do my sound. Okay, I'll watch comments on here then. Okay, can you guys hear me okay? My phone is doing something weird. Okay. Oh man, that cannot work. Just 1 second. Oh no. All right, okay, I'm back. I'll just move this away from this screen. Okay, guys, the technicalities here. It's gonna be fine. Okay. Welcome to the Elevated Mother Space. I am so excited to teach today. I've had some time to prepare for this class, and it's been really, really awesome. So I'm super excited to share with you guys a little about what I've learned and about my story. So a little bit about me is I've been a part of the Elevated Mother Experience space, I think, for about a year. And it's been awesome to be able to expand and grow in that space with so many amazing women. I'm a mother of 5. I homeschool 2 of my kids out of the 5, and I have a little baby as well. So I've got 3 at home most of the time. And then I have 2 that are at school full time. And it's been a fun adventure this year. So I would say I'm like a huge student for life. Like, I just want to always learn and grow. And yeah, I just feel like as I've stepped into more getting curious with life and things, I'm enjoying life a lot more. So, I'm married. I live in Mapleton, Utah, and I came on as an elevation specialist not too long ago. So I'm pretty new to this space, being on the team, and I'm super excited about that. So after I do my teaching, we're going to move over to our Elevated Mother Experience space, which is our client group, and we'll be able to go in there and ask questions and expand a little bit more. And at the end, I'll kind of share a little personal experience about being in that space. So my intentions for this class are, first, to help you know that you are not alone. I think my next intention is to get your mind to expand and to just open up a little bit more. And then my third intention is to give you some skills that I've used throughout, I don't know, probably the last 6-ish years. I've used them very, very regularly since joining the Elevated Mother Experience space. And I've used it a ton this week because I've had a lot of expansion this week, and my body has been very activated this week. So I've had to pull out a lot of those skills during a time where I'm wanting to go to to old habits. So first off, I want you to come to this class as you are. We've had some beautiful classes before this one on faith and different topics with that. And I absolutely loved hearing Cherie and Robin talk about their different areas of faith and kind of how they've maneuvered certain things in their life where maybe it's been a challenge or a growth experience for them. And I love how every single person has a different experience on this earth, and we're meant to, because we can come and we can grow together and we can learn from each other. It would be really, really boring if like everyone's situation was the same, right? So we get and learn from each other's experiences. So come as you are. I don't want you to judge your belief that you currently have on God right now. Wherever that is right now, it's where it needs to be for the experience that you are choosing into right now. He's not going to force a specific experience for us. We get to choose that. Maybe you are struggling even to connect with God or to feel his love, or maybe you're even questioning if there even is a God, right? We're all in different stages of that journey, but I think all of us have a similar thing where we all are wanting to know. We're wanting to know what is true for us. We're wanting to know of God, and we're wanting to kind of explore that relationship. Because just like any other relationship, it takes work, it takes wanting it, and it can be messy sometimes. So come as you are, do not judge where you're at. I think as we are having contrast, as we are seeking out God, like we're learning things through the contrast, through the darkness. And that's mainly what I want to talk about. Is it's not always about the light. There's definitely beauty in both the light and the dark, however you look at that. So I'm hoping to help you get more clear with what you want, because ultimately your relationship with God, I'm even going to tie this in there. I would say you can even have it as God and self. So let's say maybe you are angry at God or you're feeling distant with God right now, just put God and self in there, or even just strictly focus on self. Okay. And I'll come back to how that kind of relates. But keep in the back of your mind, like, what do you want? If your beliefs currently are no longer serving you, I want to encourage you to challenge that. All right, so now we're gonna start off with a visualization. So I want you guys to close your eyes, and during this visualization, if you want, put stuff in the chat. I'd like to have interactive in there. I'd like to kind of know where you guys are at and how you're feeling as we go through this visualization. Oh, that's funny, Sherry. You can come on and join me. It's okay. Anyway, I was kind of freaking out this morning, and so I definitely am feeling all the support. I've gotten texts and messages, and this is my first time teaching, by the way. But I really am feeling all the support, and I appreciate that. So thank you. Okay, so first off, I'd like you to close your eyes. and visualize a time in your life when you felt alone, when it felt dark, when maybe you felt disconnected. This can be a time when you were very little. It can be a time that happened this week. Just think back to that moment. And I want to know in the chat, if you're willing to share, what are some feelings that are showing up for you as you're sitting in this feeling of darkness, disconnect, loneliness, maybe even numbing? And then also being aware of like where you feel this. Where do you feel this in your body? What physical things are you feeling in your body? And where's your mind at? You can share whatever in the chat, whatever feelings you are currently feeling in this space of thinking back to a time of loneliness. I know some things that come to mind for me. Okay, we've got some good ones. Okay, guys, sadness, grief, anger. That's what Elizabeth said. She says she feels a tightness in her chest and her throat. Latia said tightness in her chest. Kirsty said, I feel heavy in my chest and my throat closing. That's so interesting. Hopelessness. Shannon, thank you. I love this. I also was feeling kind of like I get kind of shaky. I don't know if you could like even hear it in my voice as I was kind of thinking back to a time. All the emotions, loneliness being the deepest. Yes, Cherie. Okay, thank you so much for sharing. Now, I want you to visualize a time where you felt much love and support. And again, we're going to kind of do the similar thing of what feelings are you feeling? Kind of where do you feel it? What is your physical body doing? What is your mind doing? Just come to that awareness. Maybe you're thinking back to a moment where you were a little girl and you had no cares in the world. Maybe it's something again that happened this week, or a time when you went to an event, or you were with a friend or a family member. And when you're ready, go ahead in the chat and share the feelings that you're feeling with this visual. Okay. Relief, joy, safety, and warmth. I love that you put warmth, Elizabeth. Latia is saying gratitude, joy, and touched. Christy is saying I feel open, relaxed, and grounded. Squeezing all my EMX women at retreats. Yes, Cherie. That was what came to my mind as well. I love that. Cared for and loved is what Latia is saying. And truth. Shannon, that's awesome. I love that you put truth in there. Such great things. You guys can keep putting stuff in the chat. I want to know, as you guys kind of are thinking back to the contrast of the time of feeling darkness to the time of feeling great love and support, I want you to kind of just think about that. Like, what are your thoughts around the contrast? What did you become aware of between the two? Okay, so I'm gonna share a quick little story. Um, and I feel like it kind of is a cycle. It kind of keeps coming back. And this week, I was very much reminded of a lot of the feelings that I felt. It was the year of 2018. And I decided to do a beach or a bikini competition called a physique competition. Um, And so I worked really, really hard to like prep my body and get ready to do this bikini competition. And this is something I don't normally do. And so it was really, really kind of a challenging thing for me. And it was kind of scary to get outside of my box. But as I was doing this and as I was working really hard and I was expanding my body and my mind and all the things, a lot of things came to the surface. And I didn't realize it at the time. I was thinking about it just today that as I was moving my body, as I was expanding my mind, as I was wanting to seek out God and understand things more, there were certain things that needed to be addressed. There was lots of trauma, there was lots of just beliefs and things that maybe weren't sitting right with me. Like I had followed certain things for so long, and then I think as we're doing these things, we have this awakening, right? And awakening sometimes can be really, really messy. And so after this time of a great high, right? I just was on top of the world. It was literally after it happened, it was a complete opposite. I went to really struggling and starting to numb out. So during that time, it really woke my body up, woke my mind up, woke my spirit up. And with that, there was so many amazing things, but there was also really hard things, hard, hurtful, painful things. And so in that time, it's like I didn't want to feel the hurt or the contrast. And so in my mind, or how I dealt with it was to just numb it, right? To just find things to numb out. So I stopped doing everything that I was doing. All the habits that I had created, all the things. I just kind of stopped. And as I numbed out the pain and the hard, I also numbed out my ability to receive clarity and I wasn't as receptive. So I really just like blocked all my receptivity. And so my connection with self was not very strong, which also was affecting my connection with God. Because I feel like they are very, very connected. So I think as we are seeking connection with ourselves, we can also come to a connection with God. I think sometimes we're always seeking out this like external God. You know, we're kind of like, oh, where are you? Right. When I'm finding that He can be within us, right? We can call upon Him, we can feel Him as we are connected with ourselves. So this is something, I mean, this is like a big thought for me because I'm challenging some beliefs here. Um, so as I came from a place, yes, yes, Robin, you block the discomfort. You also block comfort. Yes. And I kind of made that connection this week. It's been really interesting because some people know, like, I have dealt with some pretty extreme emotions and feelings and stuff this week. And I think that in preparation for this class, it was almost like I went back to that place to remember the contrast between the hard, the pain, to the joy and the support and the love. Because I think sometimes we forget about it when life is so good. So for me, I'm learning that there's beauty in the hard and the darkness, as well as the light and love. It's both needed. You know, I think for a long time, I always just felt like, oh, once I get to this point and I'm no longer feeling pain and I'm no longer suffering, then I've arrived, right? This is kind of a theme that I feel. I've arrived if I've mastered this, right? And what I'm learning is it just keeps going. We're going to experience contrast. Um, we're just going to keep experience contrast our whole lives. And I think one thing that helps me, and I'm going to share it in the skills, is awareness around that. That has been a huge shift for me in embracing the contrast and seeing it very differently than I used to. So I think too, we appreciate the light more going through the darkness. If you think about it, and if it's like during the day, I feel like sometimes we just like take for granted like lights, right? So yesterday, for example, our power went out for a little bit because there was a big storm. And I just got thinking that I'm like, man, like we totally take the light for granted until we don't have it. And then we're like, oh man, you know? So I think sometimes the darkness or the lack of certain things actually helps assist us. It's part of the whole process. All of it. It's a package all together. Okay. So that's something that I've learned as I continue to have this show up for me. And I think for all of us. I used to connect certain things like hard things with like sin. I always was like, you know what, that must mean I'm doing something bad. And now I'm seeing it that, oh no, of course this is showing up. I want a better connection here. So of course I'm going to be challenged so that I seek out a deeper connection, right? So I'm seeing it very different. So I'm going to go over really quick. I made a little printable because it's one of my passions. I love Canva and I love making little cute things, reminders, affirmations, all that kind of stuff. And to me, I'm excited to just put this on my wall and be reminded. Like put it in my bathroom, put it in here, just be reminded. So Robin likes to talk about prescription cards, right? And this kind of goes along with that of we have these things that we pull out. Just like when we are physically sick, we have these things, right? Medicine and what the doctor prescribes us. Well, what if we came up with things that helped us to maintain ourselves, right? And to maintain, but also to help us in those times where we need extra support, right? So this isn't all the things that I use, but these were the 5 main ones that I kind of felt like I wanted to share with you guys. So the first one is awareness or getting curious. I kind of feel like for me, they go hand in hand. Um, and to me, I also like that it kind of helps me like become like a little child. Like when I'm getting curious and when I'm exploring different things, um it just life is different, right? It just helps me not judge things as crazy as much. So if you think back to a little child, and I kind of am connecting all of this to being like a child, which that's what God asks us to do. Come as a little child, right? And when I've really like taken that very like literal of like, oh, kids are like playful and they try different things. And I know for me, like my kids, they want to try dance and then they want to try this thing over here. My 8-year-old boy, he just like loves life. Like he wants to do all the things. And so he's done like frisbee golf and he wants to do golfing and he's in gymnastics right now and he's done lacrosse and soccer and he just wants to do it all. And I just really admire like how he's just so curious and he learns so much through being curious. Okay, the next thing that I found that's been a great comfort for me is gratitude. And I love actually writing it down. I know sometimes mentally we'll like think of gratitude, like things we're grateful for, but I used to call it my tender mercy journal. And I would just write like 3 to 5 things a day that I noticed God's hand in, or that I could see that reminded me of that love that I was feeling. When we go back to how we felt with that love. Um, so that's what I did because I love to actually physically write it out. And if you want to really be expanded, do like a 21-day gratitude thing, like challenge, because I feel like when you sit in gratitude for 21 days or more, like it does something. So sitting in gratitude has the ability to change our brain. It actually will help change our neural pathways and it will actually help change the way that you think. What you appreciate grows. I think you guys have heard that term before. Another one is moving my body. This one's huge. And for 2 years, I did not really move my body. Yes, I moved my body every day, but it wasn't the same as being intentional with more of like an exercise, right? Like it wasn't necessarily going on walks. It wasn't doing a workout plan. It wasn't anything like that. It was just like, okay, I'd get up and move my body that way. But I feel like when we can be more intentional with moving our body, when we go into that with a run or with a workout or ballet or whatever we're doing to move our body, and we're doing it in a way to show love to our body and to also move energy because, and I think also help work out emotions. For me, I've been a part of a gym for like a week, like 2 weeks or something, and it has been incredible. Like I have not been able to get up early in those 2 years, like 2 years prior to this. And finally, I just was like, okay, I'm ready. And now I get up pretty early and I like it. Like that's to me is a huge thing because I wanted to get back to utilizing my mornings better. So to me, moving my body is huge. For me, it helps wake me up and it helps me feel. To me, that's what's important too with connection with myself and with God is to be able to feel. Because as we wake things up, as we go from a place of numbing out to waking it up, we are helping our body and our mind and our spirit be more receptive. And so I think that's a big part is physically moving our bodies. The next one is lean into our strengths and embrace weaknesses. We're given both for a reason, just like the dark and the light. I feel like that's kind of how I connect strengths and weaknesses. I think through our weaknesses, God is able to help us, or as we are moving forward in faith, we are able to have those weaknesses turn to strengths, right? But I feel like if we were just good at everything, what would we even learn, right? And I think even learning how to utilize our strengths in a way that serves us, because sometimes our strengths come off as so strong that they actually can be like over or underused. And so sometimes it can actually like shift things for us where it's not us using it in an optimal way. So I think leaning into the strengths and getting curious with what even are our strengths or our spiritual gifts or whatever you want to call them, right? But then also being open to knowing that we're not good at everything and it's okay to embrace those weaknesses. Last one is be willing. I think this one's a huge one for me. And this one kind of goes into, for me, like faith and action. As we are willing, and then I feel like we take it one step further and actually like do something about it, we are showing ourselves, we're showing God that like, hey, we're in, we're committed, we're ready. And then beautiful things happen as we are willingly seeking things out or willingly pursuing something or whatnot. As we come with a willing heart, things will unfold. So, real quick, those are just a few things that I have found to help me. Everyone's going to find their different things to help them. I think the most important thing, though, is getting to a place of if you are currently not happy with where you are at, with your belief with God or with your connection with God or self, like you have some work to do. And I would challenge you to go ahead and explore the beliefs that you have around um, certain things with belief with God or belief with self. Okay. Um, so a year ago, this is about when I started being a part of the elevated mother space. I hated God. Um, I didn't understand why I had to endure so much pain and loneliness as I think back to things. I just kept thinking, my life is so lonely, my life is so hard. Like, why would God even create this, right? And as I have had my mind opened over the last year, the mindset shift has been the main change for me. It's almost as though I've had glimpses of my life, like in the past, and I can look through a window and I can see moments. It's almost like on A Christmas Carol, where you know how Ebenezer Scrooge goes with the ghost or the spirit. Maybe it's not a ghost. Anyway, and they show him like different times of his life, right? To kind of help him be more aware of what's going on and help him maybe change his heart, right? But it's almost like I was able to do that throughout this whole year, and I was able to see all the support that was there during that time, during each and every time. I had like God and Jesus were there. I had angelic support. I was able to even see maybe like little bits of like the earthly support that I received that maybe I wasn't even aware of. So as I've been able to look back at moments in my life where I felt so alone, I now am able to reflect that I was never alone. I was never alone. You are never alone. We always have the support that we need. Sometimes it's just being aware of it. God is always there. And if you want a deeper connection with God, seek it out. Be willing. Do something that challenges you to strengthen that relationship. So as we continue to get curious with ourselves and learn to go inward and seek out a relationship and a connection with self, I think that really helps with our connection with God. So if you're kind of like, what do I do now? Connect with yourself. Do things to truly connect with yourself. And I think through that, you will come to know God better. Okay, so as we are done with this class, we are going to go head over to the Elevated Mother client space, and we're going to do some questions and expand a little bit more on this. I know for me, my experience with the Elevated Mother Experience Group over the last year has been incredible. It's been expansive, and it's been truly life changing. The support and love given in this space is unreal for me. I mean, I could go on and on and on. And if you want to know specific details, I can totally share that with you. We would love to have you come join us in this space. So go ahead, and if you have any questions or if you're curious about this space, put EMX in the comments and somebody will reach out to you and we can get on a quick call and just see if it's something that you want to do. So thank you so much for letting me share this with you guys. I have felt so much support and love, and it's definitely been something that has helped me with my expansion. So we'll see you guys later. Love you all.